long anger management program. A spiritual healer will accompany a person into the circle to help them leave anger, hatred, and resentment behind when they exit. In late March, an ant scampers away after getting a sweet taste of maple sap, what the Onondaga language names the sweet water from the tree. This is all part of the cycle of life. The maple sugaring season begins and ends with traditional Thanksgiving ceremonies. Virginia Abrams of the Onondaga Eel Clan pours sap taken from a maple tree into the cups of eager students from her language and culture classes at the Onondaga Nation School on the final day of gathering in late March. Our children are taught to be mindful, not to take too much sap out of the maple tree when the tree's lifeblood is flowing anew. When the weather begins to warm and the buds start coming out, it is time to stop taking the sap. Nancy Powis of the Eel Clan was one of the first Onondagas hired as a classroom teacher at the Onondaga Nation School she attended as a child. Powis is a faith keeper and began teaching at the school in 1979. Students perform a social dance in the school's cultural gallery during closing ceremonies, marking the end of a school week in March. Our elders still remember attending the school when they were not allowed to speak our language or talk about ceremonies. Now, children sing their songs and perform their dances as part of the school curriculum. The Haudenosaunee singers and dancers perform one of the oldest of our social dances during the April craft fair held at the Onondaga Nation Arena. You will see members throughout our community participating, older people, middle-aged people, and children. But our ceremonial dances are sacred and are not performed before the general public. Jada Hopper of the Onondaga Beaver Clan laughs as her daughter tries to prevent her from moving to the music. Whenever there is a social dance, people will stand their baby on their lap, where they move to the beat of the drum. This is the first step in our children participating in our native dances. A girl from the Onondaga Hawk Clan gathers wild onions for a family that has suffered a death. Wild onions are among the first plant of the season to be gathered from nature, usually in mid-April. We will make a delicious soup from them or preserve these onions for later use. In mid-April, Chief Virgil Thomas of the Turtle Clan makes the first pass of his plow in one of the nation's community gardens. Most homes on the nation have a garden of some size. Upon request, residents can have their personal gardens plowed by the nation. Kelly Swamp, on the right of the Onondaga Eel Clan, and a member of the Onondaga Nation Fire Department, works alongside the Taunton Volunteer Fire Department at a house fire on Leonard Avenue in Syracuse. The Onondaga Nation Fire Department is supported solely by the nation and does not receive federal or state funds. For the last 40 years or so, our children have given up a portion of their spring break to pick trash up from the roads. Our spring cleanup is a learning project to keep things clean, to get along, to respect Mother Earth, and to be aware that this is trash and it shouldn't be there. Junk cars used to be salvaged for parts on Indian territories, but unfortunately, after the time goes by, they're still there. At Onondaga, we have to clean up our land just as we expect everybody else to respect the environment. Years ago, the nation cleaned up all of the personal trash dumps near residents' homes and combined them into one dumping area. Around 1995, the burning of trash was banned. The nation is working with environmental experts to fix our dump shortcomings. All human beings must share the responsibility of cleaning up their waste on this earth. 3 nuclear reactors are located at 9 Mile Point along Lake Ontario, just 35 miles north of the nation. If there is a problem with those facilities, we will suffer the same as everyone. Damage to the environment doesn't stop at any boundary. An abandoned family dump lays buried along the Skaneateles Creek Gorge in Elbridge, located within the area of the land rights action. As the soil around the trash erodes, debris falls into the creek. In the meantime, erosion is cutting into this dump, polluting the life-giving water that runs behind it. If our waters are not pure, then we all suffer. During a tour of the valley south of Onondaga, members of our nation are taught how Onondaga Creek was damaged from brine collection, mud boils, and the clear cutting of forests to build the cities of Syracuse and Cortland. Part of our way of life was taken away when that creek was made muddy. The creeks were not just places to swim and fish, but were also gathering places for our people. Since most of our watershed is located outside our borders, we have no control over it. We have people who use this spring along Gibson Road because the nation's water system uses chlorine. Some people won't drink the nation's water, and they won't use it on their plants or in their gardens. Harold Farmer of the Onondaga Turtle Clan keeps his bottle of water cool by letting it set in a cool late April stream. As a member of the work crew paid by the nation, Harold has cut several nature trails for our community. The warmth of April and May gets our people out of the house and back to the outdoors. Michelle Papineau of the Onondaga Eel Clan keeps watch over her 6-year-old daughter as she floats into the evening sky with a friend. Following planting ceremonies in mid-May, the white corn seed is soaked in water overnight before planting. Corn is celebrated as a source for all of our life. Alma Printup of the Onondaga Turtle Clan plants white corn in her family garden by hand. Even though we have become part of the outside workforce, we have tried not to get away from planting and farming. Ruth Webster and her granddaughter, Fawn Printup, transplant black raspberry plants into their family garden. Working on the earth together is how things are passed from one generation to another. Both are members of the Onondaga Turtle Clan. Our school kids participate in replenishing fish into Onondaga Creek. They learn to be conscious of everything that surrounds us, both through the school curriculum and the Longhouse teachings about our connection to the Creator and nature. Jeff Paulus lowers his brother down the bank of Onondaga Creek on the Nation to retrieve a brown trout Jeff caught, then released. The two, both of the Mohawk Bear Clan, worked together to bring the fish home to eat after they saw that it would not survive. During the spring, buffalo raised on the Nation will shed their winter fur. The herd averages about 40 to 50 buffalo. A few of the 1,500-pound adults are slaughtered each fall and winter for meat, which is distributed throughout the Nation. Maureen Lyons of the Onondaga Eel Clan uses a super soaker to apply a mixture of iodine and antibiotics to an injured buffalo's open wound. As she maneuvered around buffalo, protecting the injured female to get an open shot, Maureen was careful not to unsettle the herd. The wounded buffalo was fully healed in less than 2 weeks. Kevin Fernandez of the Oneida Wolf Clan sets decoys while hunting for wild turkeys in early June. We hunt and fish for food, not for sport. We determine the rules of the woods, which are to take what you need and only what you need, and to use whatever you take. And anybody that is hungry can hunt whenever they need food. Third baseman Kirsten Oakes of the Onondaga Snipe Clan, standing in the center, joins her teammates during their pre-game ritual of applying infield dirt under their eyes before home softball games at Lafayette High School. She says it makes her feel like a part of the field and helps her to focus on the game. According to former players, the tradition began sometime after 1997, but before the start of the 2002 season. Lafayette High School assistant coach Jerome Thompson shares tears of pride with his sons Jerome Jr. and Jeremy, moments after their victory in the closing seconds of the 2005 New York State Class C Championship lacrosse game. The brothers belong to the Onondaga Hawk Clan, and the father is Mohawk Wolf Clan. We call lacrosse de un chiquaes, they bump hips. Lacrosse was given to us by the Creator and considered to be sacred. The Onondaga Nation supports teams for boys and men of all ages. But following tradition, our women do not play lacrosse out of respect and protection of their gift of providing life. Jake Edwards, a chief of the Onondaga Eel Clan and a volunteer assistant coach for his son's lacrosse team, provides water to Onondaga Redhawks players during a timeout. Fathers passing our game down to their sons is what keeps our whole Six Nations alive. The game builds physical endurance and requires quick thinking. The Onondaga Old Sticks celebrate their winning overtime goal during a tournament held at the Onondaga Nation Arena. The Old Sticks play in a non-contact league for men 35 years and older. This allows them to continue to play the game of their ancestors into their 60s with a reduced risk of injury. Chief Irving Paulus Jr., 77, of the Onondaga Wolf Clan, and Stanley Buck, 84, of the Cayuga Turtle Clan, recall their youth whenever they see this photograph of the nation's 1948 lacrosse team. Both are seated in the front row, with Paulus only 17, second from the left, and Buck, then 24, on the far right. Alf Jocks of the Onondaga Turtle Clan is our premier lacrosse stick maker. As a young boy, he and his father Louis learned the art of making wooden lacrosse sticks together. Now 56, he works in the same workshop behind his mother's home and harvests live trees from the woods of the Onondaga Nation. Alf believes that hickory has its own energy and power that comes from a living tree, with that energy being transferred to the player through his stick. Alf says that somebody has to keep making these wooden sticks, otherwise they're all going to be gone. Our lacrosse players are buried with their sticks. Alf's favorite is the old box lacrosse stick sitting to the right of the ball. But he has told his family, "Bury me with something else, not that one. It's got too much character." That's the one that everybody likes. Each year, the graduating 8th graders at the Onondaga Nation School present a gift to the school. The old and the new come together during these graduation ceremonies. Modern footwear is exchanged for traditional Onondaga moccasins made for the